This is your host, Darryl Wood, and this is the Escape Plan Part 6, the top 7 escape plan pieces. Now, starting off at number 7 is death hoax predictions in tabloid publications. Now, this takes us back to the Escape Plan Parts 1 and 2, but starting at Part 2, which featured my co-host Melissa, this was a segment that she spoke about the 1993 article that came out about MJ wanting to fake his death. Now, of course, in the early 1990s, there was plenty of death hoax stories out there, and Elvis was one of them. And of course, people did believe it, but then there was people who thought it was tabloid junk. I originally thought that this sort of thing was tabloid junk until me becoming a researcher myself, learning that that article wasn't put out just to be put out. It was put out for a reason. And I guess it was in preparation for what Michael actually was planning to do on down the line. It wasn't going to be in the 90s. It wasn't going to be till 2009, which we discussed in the Escape Plan Part 1, about the National Enquirer's article about MJ being pretty much given 6 months to live. In their words, he had 6 months to live, and this particular article pointed to the truth because between January and June 2009, that's 6 months. So that wasn't a prediction, that was actually given information to the National Enquirer to aid MJ in his escape. Now, coming in at number 6 is the Smooth Criminal segment of the This Is It film. Thing that I noticed that was missing from the Smooth Criminal segment that I haven't really heard many people speak about. I guess you guys ask, why am I showing a scene from Smooth Criminal where someone is shooting at Michael? Well, in this scene, Michael is being chased by actor Humphrey Bogart. This is a scene from Tokyo Joe's, a film from 1949, also distributed by Columbia Pictures, which is owned by Sony. This also has ties to Michael Jackson being alive, as this was also chosen as another hint from Michael. In this film, Humphrey Bogart plays a character named Joe Barrett, who returns to Tokyo to find out his wife he believed to be dead is still alive and well. Now, coming in at number 5 is The Man Behind the Mask. Now, this video had to make the countdown, as Michael is a master of disguise, and that's one of the ways he has gotten around since he actually faked his death. Now, some of his earliest disguises have been something simple as just a fedora, sunglasses, and a surgical mask. But over time, his disguises had actually improved, where he was in full-fledged makeup standing next to people, and they didn't actually know he was right there. So he could have been there, but no one would have actually known it, and this was a huge part in helping him escape. Now, coming in at number 4 is Dave Jackson. Now, one of the reasons why I named this segment Dave Jackson is regarding MJ's appearance on the Larry King Live show. Now, if you remember this particular moment during Larry King Live when Dave had appeared, MJ, who was under the makeup at the time, looked into the camera and slid down into his seat as if he was fearing that he would be recognized. And I had showed the difference between this Dave during the Larry King interview and the difference between Dave outside of this particular interview. Now, those two were not the same person, and here's why.
I believe in spirituality, and I believe in a higher source such as God, but I'm not a Scientologist. I read everything, and I like to read. I love to study.
To liberate myself from the confines of my father's criminality.
He caused the fire?
Yeah. He is a criminal, and he caused all this.
What's up, motherfuckers? It's Double D. I'm about to drop some records here on YouTube. Y'all be recognizing, because I'll be socializing with your motherfuckers.
Now, in that video, I gave several particular reasons as to why I believe that this was MJ on the Larry King interview as Dave, being that the Dave on CNN sounds a lot more like MJ than he actually sounds like the real Dave. Plus, they do look extremely different. Coming in at number 3 is a message left behind. During a segment of the video, a series of scenes are used to send a message to fans through imagery, starting with the note spotted in the center of the imagery, which is a note that reads, "He hides." Then seconds after, it shows an airplane flying through the sky, which is reminiscent of something that Jermaine Jackson had let us in on in 2009 with,
very healthy, but Michael was not with us way before he arrived to the airport.
Coming in at number 2 is airplane, aircraft, airport, closure, closed.
Very healthy, but Michael was not with us way before he arrived to the airport.
Now, everyone likes to say that this particular moment from Jermaine is a slip-up, when in all actuality, it wasn't a slip-up. This was an actual message from known information that Jermaine had that particular day. Because if you remember, in the Escape Plan Part 3, I had discussed that Jermaine was the person who was Michael's main contact between Gaston Azcaragua Andrade, who was the president of Mexicana Airlines back in 2009, who helped organize the escape, provided the security detail that helped MJ get through LAX during the shutdown that he provided. MJ also used a mask. Of course, I discussed earlier on in this video how MJ was the master of disguise and he was the man behind the mask, and this was one of the ways that MJ got through that airport and out of there safely. Not only that, Mexicana Airlines would shut its doors the following year on August 28, 2010, due to bankruptcy supposedly, with Gaston Azcaragua Andrade never being heard from again. Coming in the number 1 spot is Whoa, That Is Not It, or Is It? Now the number 1 spot goes to the media manipulation and the helicopter footage segment of the Alive the Escape Plan Part 1 video. Now in this particular video, in this segment, I had discussed how this was tied to Operation Mockingbird, as well as this media footage that was presented to us live publicly was not actually live. This was tailored and this was doctored. And I did explain why, but I can go into that detail here again as to what I explained in part 1 of this particular video. Now, between the transferring of the body from the helicopter to the ambulance, so many different things can be pointed out that was totally wrong with how this was presented. And this proves that it wasn't public, because 1 minute the feet are not bound together, the sheet is loose with a knot on the left side, when the body appears thicker now, but then at another angle, the body is thinner, the sheet is tucked neatly, and the knot is gone, while the feet are bound together when they originally were not. So how was this possible for the news media to have this happen during live footage? You tell me, what does it mean? This pretty much wraps up the countdown for the Alive the Escape Plan Part 6 top 7 pieces of the escape plan, based upon my videos that are still out there that YouTube has not decided to remove. But anyways guys, I do appreciate all your love and support towards my channel and towards my videos. There is definitely more coming from me, so definitely be on the lookout. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out of here. Peace.